Hello everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today in this virtual Youth for Climate Adaptation conference organized in support of the Climate Adaptation Summit. It's not just a pleasure, but it's also a bit of a challenge for me to be here today because I was asked to deliver a motivational speech to you. And I thought, how do I do that? Because my constant challenge is to motivate myself. So then how am I going to motivate other people? And why do I say this? I say this because, working in climate change issues, it can be a challenge, especially if your motivation is climate action. So people often ask me, it must be so amazing, it must be so interesting working on climate change issues. And I reply, it's actually depressing because you would like to see a certain outcome from climate negotiations or actions, and you're not seeing that outcome. So in this situation, how do you keep yourself motivated? But this is not something new to me because I've been working in this area for the last 10 years, and I've had to keep myself motivated. And I've learned a few things there, ways in which I can keep myself, things that inspire me. So today I wanted to share with you what those things are that inspire me. And there is a reason why I think this is something you can relate with, because I started my journey in a similar way that you all are doing today. Because 10 years ago, after I'd completed university, I was selected as a climate champion by the British Council, which gave me an opportunity to engage with other young people, catalyzing action around the world on climate change. And together, strive for climate action in my workplace, through other projects and so on. So I think this story is something that you can relate with. So that was the starting of my journey, and after that I worked in different roles in the climate change arena. I currently work for the CGIAR's Climate Change, Agriculture and Food Security Research Program, a large international research organization which is working on applied research. So we do research on the ground, but we seek to make sure that decisions are made based on this research. So in this journey, I've learned three things, and I want to share that with you here today. So the first thing I've learned is that climate change is not a short-term issue. So as a climate activist, as a climate champion, when I came into this arena, I thought, I'm going to work for a few years on this and the problem's going to be solved. There's going to be a COP15 in Copenhagen or a COP16, and we're going to solve this problem, and then I can get back to life as usual. But that is not the case. We have COP26 coming up, and we will have many more COPs before this issue is solved. So there is a need to recognize that this is a long-term problem. The solution is also long-term, and the commitment that you and I need to make to the cause is also long-term. So the first thing I would urge you to take away is to make a long-term commitment towards climate action. The second thing that I would like to make is to try and catalyze change in society. This can be done, in your household, in your lifestyle choices, in your career choices. What sort of work do you want to do? What kind of decisions can you inform there? I talked about my work with CCAFs at the beginning. So I work with lots of different partners, who are investing in climate action as international organizations, as private businesses. I work with policymakers, and I try to inform their decisions on climate change and help them to make sure that we have a future which tackles climate change issues. But it's not just that. As I said, you can also work in your household, in your community, charitable organizations. Wherever you can catalyze change, you must catalyze change, because we cannot sit back and wait for someone else to do it. We have to take action. We have to be the ones that catalyze change in society. So that's the second point I would like to make, catalyze change. The third point is coming from the practical challenges or reality of being young in this space. When I started my journey as a climate champion, I found it extremely challenging because decisions are not necessarily made by young people. decisions are made by very senior people, often much older than us. And there are hierarchies which exist, and it's not often easy to break these hierarchies. There is discrimination. So it's easy to give up. It's easy to just also just go with the flow and do what you're told, but that's not enough. That's not going to get us the results that we want. So that's why I chose the words for this topic, for this speech carefully. We need to sustain climate activism in our careers. And how can you do that? And I think that's why this term champion is more important, because you need to be a champion for climate action in your workplace, in your personal life, in your community, and you need to champion efforts, even if there is pushback from the established hierarchies, or even if there is discrimination, we need to keep pushing on. And at one point, there is going to be a generational change.